this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Sergey Karjakin and Magnus Carlsen. This is a rapid game from Grand Chess Tour, played in Abidjan in 2019. Sergey Karjakin had white pieces and he started with e4. Magnus Carlsen played c5, the Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, knight to c6, knight to c3 and now e5. This is what Carlsen played recently against Peter Svidla. Karjakin continued with bishop to c4, bishop to e7, d3, d6, knight to d2. This is exactly what Peter Svidla played against Carlsen. Surely Karjakin found an improvement for white. Knight to f6, knight to f1, knight to d7, white to move. Peter Svidla played knight to d5 in this position. Karjakin played a3, making the room for the bishop on a2. Knight to b6, bishop to a2, Carlsen castled kingside, knight to e3, bishop to e6, knight on c to d5, bishop to g5, and Karjakin castled kingside too. Bishop takes on e3. This position was seen for the first time in 2002. This was the game between Valery Smirnov and Sergey Karjakin. In this position, in that game, player with the white pieces, Valery Smirnov, captured with the bishop, and the game ended in a draw. Karjakin played pawn takes bishop. This is an improvement for white. The game continued. Knight to e7, c4, cementing the knight. f5, bishop to d2, bishop takes on d5, e takes on d5. White has a space advantage and a bishop pair. The opening worked quite well for Karjakin. Knight to d7, b4, b6, bishop to b3, knight to g6, bishop to a4, queen to e7, bishop to c6, rook from a to d8, queen to a4, knight to f6, pawn takes pawn on c5, b takes on c5. It is white to move, and this is the critical position of the game. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Well, the pawn on f5 can be taken for free. Do you agree? What could be wrong with taking that pawn? Karjakin played rook takes pawn on f5. Rook from a to b1 and rook from a to e1 are better moves. Let's go back to our game. Rook takes on f5 was played. This pawn was a tiny bit poisoned. Let's see why. Carlsen played e4, queen to c2. If d takes on e4, knight takes on e4, and after rook takes rook check, rook takes rook. Black is standing much better. This position favors knights. Back to our game. Queen to c2, knight to g4, rook from a to f1. Let's take it back. If d takes on e4, queen to h4, h3, rook takes rook, pawn takes rook, queen to f2 check, king to h1, knight to h4, threatening checkmate. After queen to e4, knight to f6, attacking the queen. White bishops are quite embarrassed by the knights. White can actually resign in this position. That's the strongest move. Back to our game. Rook from a to f1, doubling the rooks. Rook takes rook. Rook takes rook. Queen to h4, threatening queen takes on h2. h3. Knight takes on e3, bishop takes on e3, queen to e1 check, king to h2, queen takes bishop, d takes on e4, knight to f4. Compare two minor pieces on the board. White Lightska bishop is offside and black knight is a real worry for the white king. Black may be also threatening to trap the rook, starting with the move g6. Queen to b2. Let's take it back. Queen to b1 would keep an eye on the e4 pawn. g6 is still a worry. Back to our game. In this position, queen to b2, Queen takes pawn on e4, attacking the rook. It is white to move in this position. Karjakin played for a little trap, and that is bishop to d7. What is the trap? Carlsen played g6, not taking the bishop. What is wrong with rook takes on d7? If rook takes on d7, then white wins with queen to b8 check. And what now? Rook to d8, queen takes rook, check. If queen to e8, queen takes queen, checkmate. Back to our game. g6, attacking the rook. Rook to f6. What would you do in this position if you had black pieces? Please pause and find the best move for black. Did you pause? What did you find? Carlsen played knight to d3, attacking the queen. This is winning on the spot. Queen to c3 was played, dropping the bishop on d7. Saving the bishop with move like queen to b7 would cost white the rook. Can you see how? Then queen to e5 check, and after king to h1, queen takes rook. Back to our game. Queen to c3. And now black plays the obvious. Rook takes bishop. White is a piece down. Rook to e6. Black played a move and white resigned, and the move is queen to f4 check. White resigned. For the entertainment purpose, I will show you just one line. King to h1. Queen to f1 check. King to h2. Knight to f4. Queen to b2. Black can simply take the rook on e6, but I really like this line. Rook to b7, a deflection tactic. White queen must defend the pawn on g2. If rook to e8 check, king to f7, rook to e1, rook takes queen, rook takes queen, rook takes on g2 check, king to h1, g5. And I think we can stop here. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.